Appreciate hearing your perspective, your story, your real-world experience of what you're having to live with and the successes you've built. You know, you hear a lot of statistics about how the estate tax might only affect large companies or businesses and maybe just a few wealthy individuals, but I can certainly tell you that's not the case of the folks I've talked to with some family businesses in Minnesota, similar to what you've expressed today. I've spoken to Minnesota farmers, I've spoken to Minnesota family business owners who have their family livelihoods threatened with the death tax right on the horizon. I remember I met with an individual just 2 weeks ago, and he's got millions of dollars locked up that he would love to invest that capital to hiring more people, jobs, et cetera, expansion, but he's got to work with the tax code, he's got to plan for the future, all these accountants, all these lawyers, and then plan for all these contingency plans, and it's just sitting on the sidelines. And, you know, there's one company, Ms. Madoni, it's a company that's just like yours, and it's Johnstone Supply. It's an HVAC company in Minnesota, equipment wholesaler in Bloomington. It's a prime example of how detrimental this tax can be for family business. Unlike a lot of large corporations, it's these small businesses that have a high level of assets but a very low level of liquidity, right? Farming is the exact same situation. Johnstone, for example, they own a few buildings, they carry that high level of inventory, but that has relatively little working capital. But when the family started looking at transferring ownership to the next generation, they realized that they were going to have to pay they were having huge liquidity problems when it came to paying these estate taxes, and they found that the only way that they were going to be able to afford the taxes was to sell off a portion of the business or to purchase a substantial life insurance policy. And then because of the uncertainty surrounding the estate tax, again, the company started about 30 years ago, they never knew how much life insurance was needed in order to help cover the cost of the tax. So when it became clear how big the burden was actually going to be, the cost of insurance at the age of the family members was substantial. It was huge. And due to the circumstances, then the next generation of the family was forced to purchase this Minnesota company, which in turn has caused them to become highly leveraged, put the company at risk, and they actually consider themselves very lucky to have found a bank that was willing to actually do the deal. But because this family still owns some companies in some other states, they've been forced to spend about 20% of their net income on life insurance to fund their future estate obligations. Now, this is money that could otherwise be reinvested in the company, reinvested in the business, in their community, and put towards growing the company. But the money is locked up. And this isn't a family that's trying to evade taxes. They're not trying to escape taxes. They simply want to keep the business afloat and in the family for other generations. And so the tax code is literally forcing them essentially to consider breaking up the family business. And that's jobs lost. That's layoffs. That's the wrong direction. And so, Mr. Madoni, I just want to follow up a little bit. It brings me to the question of what options do family businesses like yours or like Johnstone Supply really have when it comes to the estate tax today? And what does repeal mean for expanding operations, for increasing sales, for creating jobs? Would it make your business stronger?
Yeah, absolutely. And for the record, Johnstone Supply is also a Hardy member, so we know that. I know those folks well. Yeah, the statistic about the only affecting a small fraction of estates, I think in large part that's probably because people spend a lot of money trying to figure out how to preserve their company without having to pay that tax. So I don't have a number. I wish I had a number. I wish there was some way to kind of capture that that statistic on how much money is spent every year on hiring accountants and lawyers to try and figure out how you can pass your company on. In our case, I know that we sit on a lot of cash, and we do that purposefully because my dad is in his 70s, and while it wouldn't be enough cash to pay the estate tax if we got hit with it, it would help us a little bit, and that money could very easily be used to hire more people, to start a new branch, to get into new equipment lines, or add another vendor to our list of preferred vendors. It could be used for a lot of things, buy more trucks, and it's not being used for that because it's sort of earmarked just in case money.
And what really comes out in your testimony, I think of your father sitting around the table planning for the future. It's not about some aristocracy or passing this on for family wealth. It is about keeping a company afloat and living that American dream for other generations and for having many more jobs, many more employees. That's a big part of our economy. That's the engine of our economy, is many small businesses just like yours.
Yeah.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.